Times like this, it's beautiful to be an Arsenal fan, especially when we have consistent victory back to back. Arsenal went to Bilbao in Spain and they nullified their Spanish opponents by 2 goals to nothing. But despite that victory, there were certain things that didn't go well for me in that game. And there are things that we also did correctly. First, we saw Arteta playing 3 DMs again. And this was the same thing he did against Liverpool at Anfield. And we all cried hero and said, why would you play 3 DMs? This time around, he had some attacking players on the pitch and still chose to play 3 DMs. It's something that I couldn't understand, but let's hope that we're going to get out of this double draw going forward. Because I would have loved to see an 8-1 in that game rather than playing 3 DMs again in Bilbao. Anyways, there's something I also found out that Arsenal players haven't learned from the past mistake in the previous seasons. You ask me how? Okay, let us look at it. I recall a moment in time in the game when Timber would have just knocked the pass to his colleague on the pitch. Rather than knocking the pass, he decided to hold on to the ball. And somehow the ball was nicked off him and they were almost going to score. These are the things we need to understand. And that is why if we're going to be playing with audacity, we should be playing with authority, we should be playing with presence. And these are the things that are lacking in the current Arsenal side. And I hope that when they continue to play, probably if they're going to play against Man City over the weekend, we're going to be seeing a different Arsenal side. But I want to see fire in the belly of the Arsenal players that going onto the pitch against any opponent, we should know that this match is the must win. We fluffed our lines against Atletico Bilbao. We had a lot of moments where we would have even conceded, but somehow we did not concede. But something that remained typically present on the current Arsenal side is that our defense is formidable. No matter how we choose to juxtapose it and playing different players, at the moment, the defense is solid. Under the rock of that defense is Gabriel Magalhaes. You could see he putting on the captain's band, the way he was marshalling every player, screaming at them, calling them into position. That is what you need from every player on that pitch. Because if Arsenal is going to win something this season, it has to be collective responsibility. We don't want to see a situation where some people are upping their game and others are dilly-dallying. Talking about Deli Darling, Madueke had a lot of fantastic moments against Atletico Bilbao. In the final third, his final balls were questionable. And this is where, personally, I had an issue when I realized that we're going to be signing Madueke. I'm one of those that didn't really criticize him completely. But I just said, if you listen to one of the shows, you watch and see where I said that if he works on his final ball, that he's going to be a formidable player. And that is what makes Bukayo Saka the star boy and most relevant for England and Arsenal. So let me know what you think in the comment section by commenting on your overall view of the match against Atletico Bilbao. Now, Madueke had a lot of moments, I love him for the ability to transit and play direct and take the ball to the opponent. But his final ball were just failing him. That he need to improve on it, and that is key. That is what make Bukayo Saka, that is what make world-class players different from ordinary players. Now we're going to be looking at how does Arsenal have opportunities. So far, if you look at the current 2025-2026 Premier League season, Arsenal have scored 9 goals and have missed 21 scoring opportunities. That means if Arsenal were to be clinical, we should have backed in 30 goals. So that is what we need to do. We need to be efficient in front of goal. We need to be clinical. I see that we'll pass the ball too much in front of our opponent's goal area. We need to start taking shots at every moment so that we can take our opponents, to the cleaners. And taking them to the cleaners is so easy because we've got clinical players. We've got a goal poacher in Victor Gyökeres, but we also need to play to his strength. That is what I'm saying. Am I the only one that is not truly convinced that Arsenal has come to the furrow and that they've learned from the past mistakes? No. You could hear Thierry Henry not too convinced. And he also stressed the fact that if there's any season Arsenal need to win trophy, having missed out in the last 3 seasons, it is this year. And just like I said in one of our previous shows, we must have the audacity to go to any ground and win. And we've been able to see that against United. We've seen that against Atletico Bilbao. That we would have done similarly the same thing against Liverpool, despite the fact that Liverpool is one of the top most formidable side and current Premier League champions. But all you need to do is play with some sense of formidability. Now, the question I want to ask, do you think Mikel Arteta is the problem? Or do you think that the tactical nuance of Mikel Arteta is what is holding the players back? Because this is where I'm beginning to have a lot of challenges because they say too many cooks spoils the broth. Now Arteta has got a formidable first 11, second 11. Now the question is, how do you utilize these players to your strength and use it to undo your opponents? That is where we are lacking. Mikel Arteta, no doubt, is a good coach. Psychologically, emotionally, he has brought Arsenal together as a knitted family because the club is truly a family club. And he has been able to show that from the way everyone, from the groundsman to the cook to everybody in the cafeteria, in the media, everybody were in sync with love for one another. And I want to tell you that if you look at the telepathic way that Arsenal plays in scoring goals, especially the goals we've scored this season, it's like a modeled orchestra. You know, when you say modeled orchestra, you understand what I mean. That Arsenal, this is why they love to hate us and hate to love us. But we must do something. We must have that audacity to go and destroy every opponent. So the Champions League is something that is winnable, but we must learn our lessons. We must put our eyes on the focus, on the prize, on the goal, and never allow moments to overrule our sense of reasoning. Yes, now I want to look at the goal that Martinelli scored because a lot of bantering fans were saying, oh, you guys were crying here over the introduction of Martinelli into the game. And now when he scored, you're celebrating. Who wouldn't celebrate when your team scores? But come to think of it, Martinelli did not take a clinical chance because Unai Simon would have caught that ball, but somehow the ball betrayed him by passing through his arms. So what I would have expected from Martinelli next time is to dink the ball because the goalkeeper was already on the floor. And this was clear opportunities, same type of opportunities that he had against PSG in the first leg when PSG came to the Emirates last season to defeat Arsenal by a long goal. So these are the moments that you get in games because they don't come too often. When they come, just know you must have that mental calmness to know how to slot in your ball. Because if that ball didn't go through the hands of Unai Simon, I'm sure that would have missed that chance. Now, come to think of it, look at the sniper we have in Trossard, the way he directed his body shape and took his chance. That is what I want to see from every other Arsenal players. Because if we don't score goals, it means we're putting a lot of pressures on our defenders. We want to relieve our defenders of that pressure so that when you score quick goals and you consolidate on it on scoring more goals, then our defenders can have a breather as well as our goalkeeper. So go to the comment section. Let me know what you feel about the match, your overall view of the match between Arsenal and Atletico Bilbao. And let us also know if you think Arteta's tactical know-how is what is holding us back because by now, I want to see us playing with some level of tenacity, authority, presence in every game. But I've not seen that. And that is why I'm not overly convinced about the way we are going about this season. But you never can tell. Maybe it is this season that we're not playing with that intensity that we're going to get it. So whichever way it is, Mikel Arteta, you and the boys must make us proud. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We are on Arsenal Fansbeat, and we want to say thank you to everyone that is taking their time to watch every of our videos, to keep on liking, sharing, subscribing. And as we're building this community together, from me to you, it is come on, you Gunners!